What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Knock Stiff Golf. If I was to ask you what your dream golf foursome would be, a lot of people would maybe say Tiger, John Daly, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, a bunch of different names, very respectable. Now, let's talk about some names that probably wouldn't be on very many people's lists. I think that would be easily Sergio Garcia. Maybe even Matt Kuchar as of late, and especially Patrick Reed. He's the one we're going to be talking about today because he seems to not be able to stay out of the media. And it's been about a year since I think I talked about him last, and here we are again. So there's a couple videos that I did, mainly regarding who's probably the most hated golfer in the PGA. And it was kind of like a throw-up between Sergio with his kind of temper tantrums he was having, and then Patrick Reed just being dislikable kind of across the board. Most of us are familiar with Patrick Reed's long history of controversy, going even back to his college days at University of Georgia. He was excused from the golf team, I believe, after one season, and then there was mixed rumors if it was having to do with cheating and possibly stealing from roommates, where his excuse was that it was an alcohol violation. An interview, I believe, with his coach kind of said that there was some issues with him from the get-go that they thought they could work through, but he was just not the type of person that they wanted on the team at the time. You can read into that as much as you want. That's not usually a very good mark on your record right there. And most of us know about the estrangement from his family and his younger sister, and that's ranged back to several tournaments where he's either asked them not to come or he's had them escorted out, maybe with the help of his current wife, Justine. It's kind of a messy situation when it has to do with family, and I don't know all the details about that, but it is a bit odd to me that that certainly is not helping his reputation. A few of us will remember the camera crew confrontation that happened where he was about to hit a chip and it sounded like somebody with the camera crew was jiggling some change in their pocket. Patrick Reed's caddy pointed him out and basically told him stop it. And then Patrick Reed said, you know what? No, you guys lost your privileges. Get on the other side of the green. To some extent, whatever it was, paraphrased. But it just didn't always paint him in a very good light. And I get it, though. These guys are playing very stressful, competitive rounds day in and day out. And having some people that you feel maybe are trying to push your buttons or distract you would get old time after time. Then also you have him complaining about his Red Sox tickets that he got free. I believe that was right before the 2018 Dell Technology Championship. I believe it was him, his wife, and his sister all got tickets to the Red Sox game. And he kind of complained about the seating they were in and how they paid $650 to get upgraded, and then they were sitting with the rest of the PGA guys. Kind of like he felt slighted. I don't blame him because I don't think a lot of the PGA players really probably enjoy hanging out with him. And then finally you kind of run into him and Jordan Spieth kind of having a little tiff at the 2018 Ryder Cup. They played together in previous competitions together and did very well as a team, but it seems like Jordan maybe wasn't on the same page, didn't feel comfortable playing with him. Whatever it was, it became very apparent that Patrick Reed and his wife both said, you need to talk to Jordan about why he doesn't want to play with me, because Patrick was more than willing to play with him. Kind of sounds like some kindergarten stuff going on, to be honest. You know, somebody won't play with me, so whatever. Anyways, so Patrick Reed has been on the receiving end of a lot of hate, and a lot of it is warranted, and some of it, I think, is just people that like to pile on, people that are maybe not everybody's favorite golfer. But he did say something that kind of worried me, and this was in regards to a question of why do people not like you, Patrick Reed? And so I'm going to read this quote from him. I mean, I have no idea, and honestly, I don't really care what people say on Twitter or what they say if they are cheering for me or not cheering for me. I'm out here to do my job, and that's to play golf. I feel like if I'm doing it the right way, then that's all that really matters. Now, I get that sentiment, but I also think that's incredibly dangerous. It's really the last part. I feel like if I'm doing it the right way, then that's all that really matters. I feel like that's a really good quote for maybe people that are sociopaths, narcissists, anything like that, where it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, it only matters what I think. And yes, I get that you shouldn't always listen to the haters or even Twitter or any of that stuff, but if there's a large enough movement that thinks you're wrong, it might be time to kind of take a step back and analyze if you are actually in the right. Sometimes you will be, sometimes you won't be, but the idea that says, if I think I'm right, is not good, in my opinion. So that brings us to what happened this weekend at the 2019 Hero World Challenge. It's somewhat of an exhibition prior to the President's Cup that's pretty much a warm-up, but it's a very small field, and you had some names like Tiger in there, you had Henrik, you had Patrick Reed, and Justin Thomas, and plenty of other players in there that were high-profile players. During the third round on Friday, they came to the par 5 11th hole. Patrick Reed hits his drive into a waste area bunker. If you are unfamiliar with the rules of golf, I'm just going to read the difference between a bunker and a waste area bunker, just so we're on the same page. In golf, waste areas or waste bunkers are treated like what's called the general area, meaning it's just like hitting off turf. Players can ground their clubs in a waste bunker, including taking practice strokes and testing the soil. However, golfers aren't allowed to use practice swings or shot preparation to move loose impediments, sand, shells, loose soil, that are naturally part of the waste bunker. If a player does, then they are considered to have improved their lie and are subject to a 2-stroke penalty under the rules of golf through Rule 8.1. That might be familiar to some that have been watching golf for a while, back to the 2010 PGA Championship with Dustin Johnson. He grounded his club on the final hole of regulation, and it was technically a waste area bunker, but the rules had stated before the tournament that every sand area was to be treated like a normal bunker where you cannot ground your club. That was known to all the players, and basically a lapse in judgment or attention, Dustin Johnson ground his club in that bunker, costing him the tournament and the major. So it's certainly fresh in a lot of our minds with how to play those. At this tournament, the waste area, you were certainly allowed to ground your club in, but as you can see from the videos that have been circulating around, Patrick Reed does something very deliberate, in my opinion. You can watch him on the videos looking down at the club and deliberately using his club to rake away the sand behind it because it appears to be in some sort of footprint or indentation. He does it once, he does it twice, hits the shot, actually turns out to be a great shot, just rolled a little too far, and the announcers were saying that this was such a great shot. Well, it was a great shot because he improved his lie so that he could get better contact on it. Now, I know what you're saying, that, okay, you know, even Rory has come out and said it. If it wasn't Patrick Reed, it wouldn't be a big deal. He might be right, but this has also come to light in the 2015 Hero World Challenge.
Patrick Reed will be defending there at Kapalua.
And then also in the 2016 at the Barclays tournament, you can see this situation that arose.
Here, we got that bunker on the left. Is he going to lay short of that one, the big one?
Well, he's got 316 total, and he's put his iron behind the ball about 4 or 5 times. Now he's put it back and taken out a...
Wow. A wood. Why? This is wow. Why? Well, why would he do
First
this?
of all, I don't know why he's trying this. Second of all, the lie that I originally saw wouldn't have allowed for this, so...
This is not the first time he's done this. This maybe is the third or fourth. I even saw videos coming from Augusta where he hit into pine straw and it appeared like he had a better lie coming out of it. There's obviously questions about his integrity ranging all the way back from college, which is very unfortunate because he is such a skilled golfer. But what it comes down to is Patrick Reed is representing America at the President's Cup this following week. I don't think it paints America in the best light. I think honestly he should probably be replaced, even though I don't see that possibly happening. America tends to kind of always have this unfortunate reputation. We have so much going on in the country right now. The last thing we need to do is be sending players to another country and saying, hey, here's our best of the best, and one just was caught cheating at the last tournament. No big deal. This was apparently cheating, which I think most of us would agree, and there's little to no consequences besides he received a 2-stroke penalty for improving his lie, and he ended up losing the tournament by 2 strokes. So maybe that's karma. Whatever it is, I think we can all agree that Patrick Reed maybe needs to have a little look in the mirror, because what he's doing right now, even though he thinks he's doing the right thing, I don't think is the right thing. I certainly don't think he's beyond help right now, but it certainly makes it harder and harder to support him with each of these little scandals coming up every once in a while. That's my 2 cents on the whole thing. I want to thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Knockstiff Golf. If you haven't already, go down below, hit the like button if you enjoyed this, leave a comment on your thoughts about this video. Is there somebody else that is probably more deserving of the most hated man in golf? Let me know. And if you are enjoying this, again, please go down, hit subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I come out with some new content. Guys, appreciate you so much, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye.